Thanks for coming out, folks. Looks we're in for another good weather day before the storm comes. Rain tomorrow. Fall officially starts on Thursday, so take advantage of it. Oh, I'm Henry Codner Jr. Gravestone right over here. Born 1824. Lived my entire life here in the great state of New York. Most of it right here in Queensbury, over near West Mountain. Shucks, folks. I am honored that you came out here. But when I learned that my life and my family were going to be part of this event, I said to myself, Henry, you ain't done hardly anything to merit consideration. Alongside some of the other folks you're going to hear from today. You may have already heard from one of them. There's a doctor, a surgeon, a military man, and a famous vaudeville performer you'll hear from. All done more important things than me. I'm just a farmer and a family man. Can't think of any particular outstanding deed to tell you about. Oh, I did serve my community for a bit as highway overseer, but that ain't nothing to what my daddy did. For Queensbury, over a number of years, he was the assessor, the commissioner of highways, the inspector of elections, even the pound keeper. When I pondered all of this, I thought, what can I say about myself? And I realized that what I accomplished was to live a long life and a good life. Long life, 80 years. Good age for the times. And a good life, which is, I think you'll agree, not easy to do. But I'm not one to brag, so I'm not going to bore you with more facts about me. Thing is, the reason for my long and happy life was family. Is there anything more important than family? I think not. And for me, my family started when I met and married the love of my life, the woman who would share most of those 80 years with me, my beautiful and lovely wife, Mary.
Hi, folks. Thanks for coming. You know, you had a long life, but you also had a long marriage, which is no easy feat. Our golden wedding anniversary, I can remember it like it was yesterday, 50 years. It was right before the turn of the century in 1899. Our lovely daughter, Betsy, had the celebration at her home. And although we couldn't dance like we did 50 years before, we still had a grand time. Our 4 sons and our 8 grandchildren were there to help us celebrate as well.
Say, would it be all right if we bragged a little bit about our children? Sure. I'm sure you've all done that from time to time. Firstborn was Merritt, 1849. He had a store over on Lincoln Avenue. There's a story behind the store. It was originally built and operated by a man named George Brown, who went on to be the founder of the hamlet of French Mountain up the way. Merritt got it in 1884. And as I was looking through the archives, I came across an interesting tidbit about the store. The newspaper ad dated March 28, 1918, had the ad read, "Vote for no license at his store." Now, if you voted for no license, that meant you were in favor of prohibition. And I hear tell prohibition didn't work out all that well.
Next came our lovely daughter, Betsy Ann. She married Robert Braden, and together they operated a lumber mill here in Queensbury. And thankfully, all of our children stayed local. And because of all their trades, they often interacted together as customer and suppliers. For instance, Betsy's younger brother, Wallace, often supplied logs to their lumber mill. Do you recall why we started to call him Wallace?
Not a bit.
At any rate, he was a logger and a farmer, and he had a son, Harry, to help him. He had 2 daughters, Mabel and Lavinia. And then, in 1861, Charles was born, and he carried on the Codner family tradition of being civically involved, and he eventually became the assessor for the town of Queensbury. And then there was Leonard, born in 1869.
Ah, poor Leonard. He married a woman named Ida Brody, who's buried right next to him. She died at age 36 after several serious operations. Leonard himself was in an accident. He was, along with his daughter Pearl and Wallace's daughter Mabel, they were out in a horse-drawn carriage in 1913 when an automobile came along and scared the horse. Over they went. Mabel was slightly injured. Of course, thankfully, just slightly injured, not seriously. Everybody else was okay. It was a damn tough time to have horses out on the road then. They hadn't made many rules yet for automobiles.
You cared deeply for our family. You made sure that when you and I passed, that they would gain in what we shared.
I certainly did. Named Wallace, our executor, gave the Queensbury land 50-50 to Merritt and Betsy. Each got an equal share. The other kids got, monetary notes and some other real estate. The Queensbury land, 180 acres of it, eventually became the site for the Warren County Tuberculosis Hospital over near Gurney Lane. It's now called the Warren Center, but I almost said their previous name. You probably know it better as Westmount than Warren Center. The county doesn't own or operate it anymore. So that's what happened.
It's just so nice to know that our land was put to good use.
Yep. And on that, we'll thank you for coming, hearing a little bit about us and our family. Can't say that we have any lasting accomplishments that we left for the fields of medicine or entertainment, but I can say for sure that I worked hard, had hardworking children, and served my community well. Oh, and had a wonderful life. I was trying to remember something.